A torrent of Chinese aircraft, missiles, and ships moved towards Taiwan as soon as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi left the island. China marking off areas encircling Taiwan where its military is doing more than just drills. Taiwan says 68 Chinese warplanes flew around the Taiwan Strait Friday. Chinese drones flew close to Japan, prompting Tokyo to scramble fighter jets. Even as it called for calm, the White House stepping up its rhetoric, summoning China's ambassador to the U.S. to condemn the provocations. An official with the Chinese embassy in Washington told reporters that the issue of Taiwan is sensitive, saying Taiwan is one of the very few issues that might take China and the United States to conflict or even a war. So extra caution and a sense of responsibility are indispensable when it comes to Taiwan. But the U.S. is worried China is unveiling a potentially years-long campaign, constant pressure on Taiwan, aimed at eventual takeover.
Beijing's provocative actions are a significant escalation in its long-standing attempt to change the status quo.
In Beijing, total rejection of the U.S. position.
If they really worry about the regional peace and stability, why didn't they act earlier to prevent Pelosi from paying a provocative visit to Taiwan?
China reacting by canceling phone calls and meetings between Chinese and U.S. defense officials, pausing climate talks with the United States, and sanctioning Pelosi and her immediate family. Still a muted U.S. military response in the region. An intercontinental ballistic missile test postponed out of concern China could misinterpret it.
Shalom, shalom. First off, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Yahweh be the true name of Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai be named for His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I give double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone, the touch of truth and will well. Citation of righteousness, truth, and honesty, sincerity. Somebody help us up, because you know that's the spirit power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. And lesson going into more updates for end times and events. As you've seen in the opening video, tensions are beginning to escalate in Taiwan, which is basically U.S. allies, and they're basically moving the exact same way that Russia moved in Ukraine. So what could happen very well, it's highly likely, is a similar situation or invasion or whatever they want to do, and that's going to definitely cause a big problem between the U.S. and China, leading up to potential war. But this is all prophecy, because the Lord gave us specific scriptures, and He stated that there would be wars and rumors of wars, and He said all these things must come to pass. So this is just another inch closer to World War III. Okay, so right now, the Russia and United States have had all-time high as far as them being at it, and Russia already said that the United States is its number one threat right now, as they are doing their thing in Ukraine. And so, you know, China's already made their threats too. If the U.S. gets involved, they're going to have smoke with China. And them two countries at the same time spells complete disaster and destruction for America. They can't go toe-to-toe with both of them countries, man. It's not going to happen. So what they're going to have to do is resort to thermonuclear weapons, because you're not going to be able to fight an army that has 1 billion people in it, and they advance with their technology too. Like, it's just not going to happen, you know. So we've got some scriptures that kind of go into it, just these things that the Lord told us. This is the book of Matthew 6 it's Matthew 24 and 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." So this is basically, we're hearing about rumors of wars. This is a rumor of war between Taiwan, China, and then the U.S. has to back up Taiwan. And they don't have a choice in the matter. You know, they had a little bit of a choice when it came to Ukraine, but their choice was to just financially get involved and trying to hit Russia's pockets. They didn't physically get involved with anything. But Taiwan is another whole nother ball game, man. They're gonna have to put boots on the ground out there, and that spells big trouble, because you know, U.S. and China have already been in a trade war for a long time. They've already been striking the United States on its goods, crushing the economy over here. So things are not looking good, man. A lot of people just think their everyday lives and nothing's going to change, but they don't know to see what's going on behind the scenes. The pieces are being put in place of the puzzle that this place is going to crash bad, because China makes almost, man, I don't even want to put a percentage on it, but I'd say a good 70% of the goods over here, the clothing and the plastic and stuff, comes out of China. So that's not a good look, but ultimately it's going to lead to the prophecy about Joel. It's the book of Joel 3 verse 2. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. It said all nations, okay? So all these different countries are we coming to the valley of Jehoshaphat to fight, which is over there in the Middle East. It says, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they shall have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So the Lord is going to put in the spirit of all these countries to go at straight all-out war. And the epicenter of that is going to be in the valley of Jehoshaphat. But the epicenter of destruction that's going to get hit from all these other nations, they're going to aim their missiles over here towards America. Okay? Let's get another precept out. This is the book of Revelation 16, verse 16. It says, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. Okay, so it's the same area. It's the same area. Okay, so he's working on gathering all these countries together. They're going to fight. They're all going to be fighting each other for different goals, and all of them trying to shoot for the world domination and be the next world superpower. But none of them are going to prevail, because the only one that's going to prevail is going to be Yahushua. But he's putting in the spirit of all these people to basically blow themselves up. Okay, this is the book of let's see here, another precept. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Now the modern day land of Gog and Magog, that's Russia. So this is talking about Russia. It says, and say, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Why? Because that is one of the tribes of Esau. So he don't have Russia's back either. All right. And it says, and say, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and bring thee forth, and all thine army and horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling with swords. That prophecy basically have just been fulfilled when they put them hooks. The Lord put them hooks in their jaws to bring them to that land over there in Ukraine. So they're the first ones basically kicking this thing off. So people are wondering, like, that shit came out the blue. They're wondering, well, where did it come from? That was the Lord doing that, getting them involved, getting that first foot of aggression. Verse 5, it says, Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So this is beginning to list all these different countries. So next, you got Persia, Ethiopia, Libya. So all the Middle Eastern countries, they're beginning to get pulled in. Because now you just seen another article that came out. If you look, Israel basically just got bombed again. Okay, it says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar and the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, for thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So this is basically just talking about deployments. Everybody's gearing up for war and gearing up for battle. It says, after many days thou shalt be visited. And it says, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered of many people against the high mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. So eventually, Israel is going to be put back in their own land. After, all the destruction happens in the wars, and the Lord's going to put us back where we belong. But up until that point, you're going to have all-out war. He's about to bring all these nations to fight. This is the book of Jeremiah 50, verse 22. It says, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. So war, war, war. You're going to hear a lot more of that. Turn it up. And eventually you're going to hear the United States is going to get hit with something. Whether it be a pocket nuke or some type of powerful missile, this place is going to get hit to get things rolling. Okay? The scriptures talk about the land of unwalled villages. That is certainly the United States. You can just so many different ways to get up in here. Come in through the north from Canada, come in through Mexico, from the east coast to west coast. Look at all these immigrants over here. Well, they call them immigrants. Some of these people belong here, but you know, it's very easy for people to get up in here. So eventually, you're not going to have a false flag event like the Twin Towers. You're going to have an actual attack from one of these nations. That's the sound of battle. Okay, so hey man, keep watch, because things are beginning to increase. The tensions are beginning to increase. You know, there's no coincidence that now Cali is now airing a commercial of being prepared for a nuclear bomb. Now California's doing it. First it was New York, now it's Cali. So now they about to put drills all over the United States? You have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of these commercials coming out for if these things aren't going to happen? They know it's going to happen. You know, and this can't be stopped, because the book of Matthew said what? Matthew 24:6, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. The ultimate end is the return of Yahweh. Well, Yahweh Shai. The ultimate end is the actual missiles hitting the lake of fire. But before that, the wars gotta happen, man. It's part of prophecy. So, Lord's will, this lesson is edifying. I'm going to close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakadash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles, great millstone, touch the truth and will well. Salutations to hopeful episode, truth and honesty, sincerity. Shalom.